I spent many very enjoyable years as the regimental bard of the Calgary Highlanders regiment. And people often say to me, "What's a bard? What does a bard do? What's his job?" Well, a bard's job is to make people cry. Really, that's what it boils down to. When I first said that, when somebody asked me and I answered that for the first time, I did it off the top of my head. It was a flip answer. Oh, make people cry. But when I thought about it afterwards, it's absolutely true. Because a bard in our society, in Scottish and Irish and Celtic society, is a tribal poet. And the tradition dates from the days long before anyone could read, long before there were books. The history of the race, the history of the clan, the history of the people was passed down by word of mouth. And the same thing has happened here among the First Nations people of North America. The shaman, the storyteller, is the man, the repository of tribal lore and tradition. And so, willy-nilly, one way or another, I found myself as the regimental bard of the Calgary Highlanders. And the Calgary Highlanders have two great battle honours of which they are intensely proud. This is where they won the decorations. The oak leaf that they wear in their cap badge was won at a place called St. Julian Wood during the First World War. And I wrote a poem for that, and it worked extremely well because the history of the Calgary Highlanders in the First World War was written by a storyteller. It was wonderful, and it was a very easy poem to write because all the details, all the atmosphere, all the environment was there. Then, after the success of the poem, the Colonel, Fred Mannix, said, "Now we need a poem for Walcheren." Now the second battle honour is the Battle of the Walcheren Causeway, which happened during the Second World War. And the Walcheren Causeway is a road, a causeway, built out into the fens in northern Holland. And so I blithely set out to write this poem, and I consulted the regimental history of the Second World War. Well, it was not written by the same person. I can't remember now who wrote it, but it was a very factual, dispassionate, historically precise, and completely unexciting chronicle of the Second World War. And that really threw a monkey wrench into my creative process because I couldn't find anything to get me started in this damn poem. You need a hook. You need something that gives you a starting point, and at least I do. And from there, I write. I couldn't find a hook. The closet was bare, not a hook to be seen anywhere. And here am I, ready to, supposed to unveil this thing on the Friday night for the great regimental dinner in honour of the Walcheren Causeway. Everybody was looking forward to hear the new poem. It was Monday and I didn't have a new poem. And then talking about it to a friend, he said, "Oh yeah, I remember that. That was Halloween, 31st of October. And I thought, oh my God, it was Halloween. And I had a hook. And this is what I wrote: The Battle of the Walcheren Causeway.